Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing a review for you of a new Wii game. It is the Wii game Blox. Now I had read several reviews of this on the internet, and the big draw to this game is that Steven Spielberg helped create it. And you know, for my generation, Steven Spielberg is one of the big directors because he did so many movies that were so good and really directed towards my age group. Well, this game, I thought, okay, Steven Spielberg, maybe it'll have a little better graphics, be a little better done. And to be altogether honest with you, it really doesn't have any better graphics. It's typical Nintendo type graphics. However, it is still a really fun game. My husband and I both enjoy it. It's really easy to get started. They do have a tutorial type round that you go through so you know what you're doing once you actually start the game. But basically what it is you're throwing balls at blocks and trying to get all of your points for the blocks in as few throws as possible. And this game I think is great for the whole family because it's really easy to do. There are easier rounds that your kids could do, and then rounds that get more difficult once you move on. So if you're looking for a game that your whole family can play, this one is great. Plus there's no violence in it. It's just a fun game. It doesn't get you moving as much as some of the other Wii games, but it is a fun game, and you are still, in the very least, you have some arm motion going. You could probably really wear your arm out if you did it for too long. But as I said, this game received a lot of high reviews because it was directed by Steven Spielberg. Well, I agree. It's a fun game. It's a lot of, it's fun to play. But I think, honestly, that this game would probably get old pretty quickly. Because some of the rounds are just way too easy. I mean, my 5-year-old got through some of the rounds on her first try, so some of the rounds are just way too easy. And some of them don't really make sense. But there is a strategic part of this game, and I kind of enjoyed that. As a science teacher, I used to teach science at the high school level, and there is some physics principles to this game, some geometry type things, where you kind of have to use physics and geometry to figure out where you need to hit the objects in order to make them go away, to make them fall down. So that's kind of interesting, kind of cool to see those properties put into action. But aside from that, as I said, it is a fun game, but I think it would probably get old pretty quickly because you can get through the rounds. Some of the rounds are just too easy. So if you're looking for a game that your whole family can play, this one is great. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is so much better than all the other games as it's been touted just because of who helped create it. But it is a fun game that the whole family can play. This is the main menu for the Explore section of the game. As you can see, there's 6 different types of games. There is the gem blocks section, where you have to knock on the gem blocks to get other things to fall down. The point blocks, where you're basically just knocking down the point blocks to get points. The bomb blocks, which explode when you hit them and therefore cause a chain reaction with others. The grab tool, where you grab one of the blocks and kind of swing it around to try to knock others over. The chemical blocks, where you have to get 2 of the green blocks together so they cause a chemical reaction and explode. And the vanishing blocks, where you hit the block and it just disappears. We are going to show you one of the games from the gem blocks section. It's actually one of the initial games that's open when you first start, because like most Wii games, when you first start this, not all of the games are open. You have to play through and put some time in before they open up more levels of the games, different games for you. In this one, you have to try to hit in one hit a place that will make the entire structure fall down. Like that. And as you can see, some of the beginners games are really pretty easy. Like this one, my husband and I were both able to do in the first try. However, some of the other games, once you get them open, do get a little more complicated. And what's kind of cool about this is that here we're going to show you one of the ones that's a little more complicated that gets opened up after you've played some of the others. What's kind of cool about these games is that it really does take some strategy to do a lot of them. You have to figure out where your weak point is, or what the best way to knock them into each other is. You use some geometry in this, some physics to try to figure out which way things are going to fall, what kind of throw you need to do, whether it needs to be a good hard throw or not so hard. And it's really just kind of cool to try to figure those things out. It's geometry because you have to figure where in the structure the weak point is, where to hit it. And see, as in this one, if you hit it in the right spot, all of the towers will cascade into each other and they'll all fall down in one shot. So we have found this game really has a lot of different types of games on it. My husband and I both really enjoyed it. And there's games for all skill levels. So if you have younger children, they would be able to play some of these too. And it'll kind of help teach them the strategy of that. And as you can see, you earn gold, silver, or bronze depending on how well you do in each game.